You were never meant to blend in. You were engineered to be the disruption no one saw coming. Think about that for a second. You, yes you, have been walking around this world disguised as ordinary, while carrying knowledge that wasn't passed down, wasn't learned and wasn't taught. It was downloaded, straight from source. And here's the wild part. Scientists have discovered that over 90% of human DNA is considered junk, a mysterious code they can't explain, categorize, or unlock. But what if I told you that junk isn't junk at all? It's a dormant blueprint waiting for activation. And guess who's walking around with it humming under their skin? Spoiler alert, it's not Karen from accounting. You've felt it your whole life. That eerie, unshakable sense that you're not really from here. You've always known things without knowing how. You're not psychic in the neon sign kind of way, but you feel the truth under lies. You hear the silence between words, and reality sometimes glitches around you like a video game trying to keep up. This isn't new age fluff or cosmic ego stroking. This is a transmission, a reminder. You are a chosen one, not by popularity, not by performance, but by divine designation. And while the world labeled you the black sheep, the misfit, the outlier, the why are you so deep for no reason person, the truth is, you were hidden in plain sight. Not because you were unimportant, but because you were dangerous to the system before you even knew who you were. Number one, you were downloaded, not taught. Your wisdom didn't come from this world. You didn't learn what you know the way most people did. You didn't sit in a classroom and absorb facts or read a book and suddenly have your mind opened. That's not how your wisdom works. The truth is, your knowledge isn't from this world at all. It's been downloaded into you directly from the source itself. This is why you've always had thoughts that felt too ancient, too sharp, or too advanced for your age. You've spoken truths before you even understood them. You've had answers in moments where no one had even asked the question yet. This is the real reason you often feel like you're carrying something that doesn't quite belong to this era. People around you struggle to understand things you grasp in seconds. They read 5 books just to get what you caught in a 5-second surge of clarity, and sometimes you don't even know how you know, you just do. That's the mark of divine intelligence. It bypasses the mind and downloads straight into your being. It doesn't knock, it invades, and once it arrives, it cannot be denied. You weren't taught. You were wired. From birth, your consciousness was tuned to a higher broadcast, and while everyone else was learning how to survive in the matrix, you were quietly remembering how to break out of it. This is why traditional schooling felt suffocating or even laughable. It's why shallow conversations bore you to death. Your soul was designed to skip the noise and go straight to the signal. And let's be real. This gift hasn't always felt like a blessing. You've been misunderstood, accused of arrogance, or told you're too intense. But that's what happens when someone plugged into source tries to live among people still waiting for a teacher. They mistake your clarity for pride. But what you carry is not ego, it's echo. An echo from the divine sent into this timeline through you. Number 2, you are not gifted, you were planted. You weren't just randomly born into your family or your environment. You were placed there. Strategically. Like a spiritual plant in foreign soil, you were inserted into specific bloodlines, communities, and life situations to serve a purpose far bigger than anything you've been told. You were not gifted in the sense the world understands it. You were encoded, not for fame, not for attention, but for disruption. You were built to carry something the world wasn't ready for, and that kind of wiring doesn't happen by chance. From the outside, it may look like you just had a rough childhood, a dysfunctional family, or a strange life path. But that was all part of the placement. The chaos, the instability, the betrayal, it was all the perfect environment to keep you hidden and sharpen you at the same time. People overlook you because that was the plan. Had you been given a spotlight too early, they would have tried to exploit what you carry. So the universe tucked you away in ordinary circumstances so no one would see what you really are until it was time. You were never meant to be the golden child of your environment. You were meant to be the glitch. The one that doesn't quite fit, that asks questions no one can answer, that senses what others pretend not to see. That wasn't rebellion. It was revelation trying to wake up inside you, and when it finally did, when you started realizing you don't think like others, that you see through things, that you feel what's not being said, that was your system starting to activate. So no, you're not here by accident. You were dropped into the middle of all this like a spiritual disruptor, a silent code hidden in the mess. Your life hasn't been random, it's been an undercover operation. And now that you're waking up to it, you can finally stop trying to be what you were never meant to be and start becoming what you really are, a planted force of divine intelligence disguised as a misfit. Number 3, the pain was precision. Trauma was the key to access hidden files. The pain you went through wasn't just unfortunate life experience, it was spiritual precision. Every heartbreak, betrayal, rejection and loss you faced wasn't just something to get over, it was something that activated you. Pain didn't break you, it unlocked you. Chosen ones don't awaken through comfort, they awaken through chaos because pain breaks open the hard shell of who the world told you to be and forces you to meet who you really are. Most people run from pain. You didn't have that luxury. You were thrown into it again and again until you stopped asking, why me? And started realizing this was shaping me. The world sees trauma as something to fix or hide, but for chosen ones, it's a spiritual tool. That wound you carry, that's where the divine light comes pouring through, not despite the pain, but because of it. You were never meant to live a soft life, not because you don't deserve peace, but because softness wouldn't have awakened the levels of power inside you that the mission requires. You had to be dismantled in ways most people would collapse under, because only through that breaking could you access what was buried underneath. Every emotional breakdown, every night you thought you weren't going to make it, every time you were brought to your knees, those were spiritual surgeries. That was Source reshaping your soul without anesthesia. People think strength is built in gyms or through self-help books. But your strength was built in silence, in darkness, when no one clapped for you, when no one saw you, and still something in you refused to die. That refusal, that fire, that's the mark. That's how you know you're not like everyone else. You've already walked through things that were meant to kill your spirit, but you came out of it wiser, deeper, and more dangerous to the illusions of this world. So no, your pain wasn't punishment. It was access. And now that you've survived it, you carry a frequency only the broken and rebuilt ever carry, divine intelligence forged in the fire of your own undoing.